Hello, my friends. Welcome in. Just want to kind of give it a channel update because obviously I've gone like really inconsistent recently, and I want to explain why as well as what's next on the channel. So please hang in there with me as I go through this with you. I think it will explain a lot. So a couple things. So today, actually the day I'm recording this, I am getting my first shot in my arm for the thing that's happening in the world right now. So I spent a good chunk of my free time last week scrambling, trying to find appointments, because how it works in my state is the governor came out and said, hey, we're going to let anybody get it, right? We were doing like phases, like you had to be 75 and then you had to be 65 or work at a school or, you know, whatever, right? And obviously I'm not there yet, despite the gray hair, not 75 or 65, and I don't work at a school. And then last week, the governor came out and said, anybody, if you're over 18 or 16 or something younger than me, if you're older than that, you can go get the shot starting April 5th, which is next week at the latest. Well, then they were like, hey, we're going to roll that out earlier, except my county, it was like the only one in the eastern part of my state that was like, we're going to wait till April 5th, maybe. And all the other counties were like, anybody, you don't even have to live here. Like, if you could drive here and we'll give you a shot. Well, that led to a bunch of people going online to hospitals and pharmacies and places with online appointment scheduling and snapping up appointments. And so, like, I went through all this to say I've been very busy trying to get shots in the arm for my wife and myself. And I'm actually going, the day I'm recording this, to get the first one for myself. My wife goes tomorrow in case there's some crazy adverse reaction. It's not like we're getting them together. Ha ha. So that's taken a lot of my time. I've been working on this experiment, which admittedly is way behind schedule. Thank you for understanding. The whole, having your ear get jacked up and having to spend all of your extra free time and some of your work time getting physical therapy has really thrown things off a little bit. So I have already tested. I've got 10 patrons, so thank you patrons and YouTube members at the $10 a month, or on YouTube is $9.99 a month tier, okay? I take a random selection of those and we create some, I wouldn't call them all Wonder Kids, but high potential, like the second thing, like the thing below Wonder Kid. 9 of them will be those, and 1 of them will be a Wonder Kid. I won't know who, I always randomize it. I have my wife randomize it and come in and change that one person in the database. But the important thing is we're taking 10 of those and putting them in the most obscure, worst reputation leagues in Football Manager. That will work because there are some leagues where you could drop them in there, but like they'll never leave. And so I think, because I've done what do we call this, a soap test? I've done a test where I've gone like 6 years into the future, because I'm going to change some of the attributes. We'll talk about that here in a second. But I've gone into the future and every player has moved on. So like what has happened in the past is they get stuck on like a youth contract on $0 a week and they never leave. And that becomes a problem, and that kind of ruins that portion of the experiment. So I've been working through that. The only thing I have to do now is go in and I'm going to randomize. We've been talking about this in the Discord, so I just pointed my other monitor as if you could see it. The Discord, the link is in the description below. I'm talking about the upcoming series because I'm going to leave pretty much all the mental attributes and like the hidden attributes set to 10, which is the average, right? But there are some, hold on, I'm looking, like adaptability, ambition, determination, professionalism, stuff like that. I'm going to randomize those a little bit just because you don't want, like, if somebody's more adaptable and they're more ambitious, I think they're more likely to move clubs. Right now, the development side, the determination, professionalism, whatever, is also important, but I'm just mostly concerned that they're willing to move. So we might bump them up to like 12 or 13. We'll make it random. So I've only got to make those adjustments, and then I can start recording. So I'm planning on doing that this week. The caveat is, with me getting my first shot in the arm, I don't know how I'm going to feel with that. So, but I am working on that. That is coming. Okay, this save here, we are going to wrap up at the end of the season, and I feel really bad about that because Marky Mark 2 in the comments sent me this awesome scarf, and it took forever to get here because of the thing going on in the world right now. I'm not saying we will never bring it back. I'd say the odds of that happening are pretty low, but I want to see it out. It was just, I don't know. Sometimes you're going on a save and like all of a sudden you get punched in the face by the board by locking down your transfer window, and it just kind of, it like took the wind out of my sails a little bit. So I'm gonna put a halt to this at the end of the season. So we're gonna finish the season out. We're gonna try and win the Dutch Cup and do the double. We'll see how it goes. And then again, I'm not gonna delete the save file. We'll keep it around. I may bring it back, something like that. So then you go, okay, well, hey, what's up after that? Well, I'm gonna start trying to reintroduce, because we're getting into the time of year where like competitions out in the real world start mattering, like World Cup qualifying and the Euros, and the US under 23 is failing to qualify for the Olympics for the third time in a row. Ha ha ha! Anyway, so I'm going to start sprinkling in some of those type of episodes because they're more universal in their appeal than just Football Manager. But from a Football Managering standpoint, we're going to have the experiment. I'm going to do I don't know if it'll be a mix. Like, I may do one and then completely finish it and then do the other, or we may do like every other day or something like that. One of those is going to be Relegation Ranger, which if you're not familiar, go watch the playlist from last season, last Football Manager, I should say, where essentially I take a manager, create a manager, and it's like someone in the comments, I can't remember exactly how it was worded, it's perfect. It was like the Sam Allardyce simulator, where all that manager does is go from relegation team to relegation team and rescue them, potentially, and then see who's available, or see who needs rescuing again, and try and get an interview. So kind of like a journeyman, but a very truncated journeyman, where like the idea is I only stay at a club for at most 6 months, right? So like I would take you to start the season in July 2020, fast forward to, Christmas 2020, see who is at the bottom of one of the tables in the world, apply for a bunch of jobs, get hired, see if we can rescue them before the end of the season, and then resign and go someplace else. So we did that last time, or last FM. We ran into some problems where I didn't have my coaching stats up enough, so I wasn't getting interesting jobs, and I wasn't staying anywhere long enough to develop, so we're going to fix that. And if obviously, as you're constantly resigning jobs, that's generally not looked upon favorably, but we're going to see what happens this time. I'm hoping that the increase in our coaching, attributes is going to make us an attractive manager wherever we want to go. So that's coming. And then another thing is we're going to be doing a national team save. I just have this thing where I'm interested in Argentina. It's kind of like the last chance to manage Leo Messi. And so I think I'm going to, again, I'd like your thoughts in the comments. Should we just do Relegation Ranger and like the occasional Argentina, or, every other day or every other video, not necessarily every other day, but every other video that I'm putting out content, mix it up? What are your thoughts there? But that's kind of what's coming along. I've been doing a lot of gardening. Spring has sprung here. I'm feeling better mentally because the sun is out and we've moved our clocks forward, and like I'm getting vitamin D and it's warm and you go outside, and we've got a garden bed in the backyard that's going like crazy. Although we're going to have a cold snap in like 3 days by the time you see this, and I'm a little worried about that. It's going to kill off all my plants. But that's what's kind of going on. Again, I feel bad, man. Marky, I have guilt about this, but I hope you all understand that's what's going on. That's why I'm doing it. So in summary, Relegation Ranger, Argentina. Do you want to see those together and mixed up? Let me know. Gonna have the experiment series coming out. Again, I just have to change some of those attributes, and then we're rolling. So you can expect that probably in the next week, assuming that the shot in the arm doesn't make me feel like absolute garbage for like days on end. I'm also going to bring out a video about like the US failing to qualify, Ireland pretty much out of the World Cup after 2 games, and really I feel bad for Stephen Kennedy, their manager, although I didn't, he was a rival of ours when we were with Cabinteely in FM20, but I think he's been put in a really, really difficult spot, to be honest with you. So I'm not trying to, anyway, that's coming. I appreciate your support and understanding. I've tried to communicate on Twitter and Discord and on the YouTube community member page and on the Patreon page about what's going on, but every time I have to put out an update, I have to remember there's 4 places to do it. So sometimes it's a little inconsistent. For my patrons and YouTube members, thanks for supporting me despite the not lack of content, but it's not been as consistent. I just want to give you an update as to what's going on and what we're doing, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Again, Relegation Argentina. How do you want to see it? We'll see you soon. Thanks.